Good morning and welcome to my studio. My name is Trisha Roy, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the power of networking. I'm sure most of you attend events where you are trying to leverage the best of your networking efforts and make business connections that are worthwhile. Today, we are going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into networking. We will learn about some of the things that you should be doing and some of the things that you should not be doing, some of the things to avoid, and then how to network in a virtual world. So, one of the things I think that every human being has is authenticity. We are all uniquely different. We are all uniquely ourselves, and there is really no person who is very much the same as another. And I'm very fond of quoting Dr. Seuss. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. If you believe that you are unique and you bring a very unique set of strengths to any business or personal relationship. So, to begin with, let's just go ahead and define networking. What is it? Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, defines it as the cultivation of productive relationships. And this in the business and workspace means that you make connections which is going to lead to something else in the future, something beneficial in the future. Why is networking important? Who do you network with and where do you network? Network is important because it helps you create these connections, and it is a futuristic thinking where you are creating relationships that may benefit both you and the person you're creating the relationship with in the future. And who do you network with? You network with your sphere. You network with pretty much everybody who crosses your path, but you do it with authenticity. You do it with um, real intention, and you do it with being genuine, being vulnerable. So, some of the things that you should be doing is, when you're going into a networking event, you ask open ended questions. You begin with common ground and you ask questions that evoke answers and the continuity of discussion. And when you ask a question, remember to listen and be genuine in your listening. Be honest and always learn to be vulnerable. Because if you keep yourself out of the conversation, if you build walls, anybody you are talking with will sense it. And that will not result in a good conversation. Even in a business setting, being the ability to be vulnerable, to be genuine is very, very important. Be kind in your humor. Laughter is great. Humor is a great tool to make connections, but always remember to be kind in your humor. And if you see that the person you're talking to is avoiding eye contact and wants to talk to somebody else, do not monopolize them. It always happens at events that the person who everybody wants to talk to has to make the effort to talk to everybody else. So they cannot talk to one person alone. So make the connection and move on. Take the opportunity to exchange the business card and make the impression as quickly as possible and move on. Some things to avoid. These are some good things to avoid. Don't ask personal questions. Asking personal questions about business or finances or relationships, it is definitely a no-no. Do not name drop without your contact knowing. You may know the prime minister of another country somewhere else in the world, and unless the prime minister has told you you can use their name, do not name drop without the person knowing. Please, please avoid speaking negative about anyone. We all have negative experiences at times which do not always work for us, but speaking negative does not speak good about you. In a networking setting, that creates distrust. Don't be dismissive. If somebody is of less importance, impact to you right now, do not dismiss that person. Chances are that person could very well become of somebody importance to you. So don't burn bridges. In a room, let's say you enter a room and you see that there are 30% or 40% of the people that you know. And the normal human instinct is to go and talk to those 30% or 40% people. But out of that 70% or 60% of the room that you don't know, there might be 20% of people who don't know anybody. And it's a good idea to make everybody else feel welcome. And the more you are inclusive, the more you will make better connections. And then let's say you make this connection and you talk to this person and the conversation is growing really great and you're given a business card. I always teach my students and my mentees, treat the business card with utmost respect. Business card is often a person's it's their best summation of who they are, their education, their work, and their performance. It's something very important. It's a very important part of their identity. So treat a business card with respect. Read it, put it in your purse, or put in with respect. Do not just jam it in your pocket somewhere, because it does not speak of respect in many cultures. And that's a whole different conversation about cultural continuum, and where people tend to come from different cultures and understand or do not understand the need for respect in business relationships, or the visible display of respect, shall we say. So treating business cards with respect is very, very important. So in networking, you're also gaining contacts. You are developing a network of contacts. So Dr. Ivan Misner, the founder of BNI, said that networking is a contact sport, because the idea is to develop relationships and create contacts whom you will remember and who will remember you. And that is a very important aspect of networking. So if you think about networking, there are in the days, since the days of the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we would have the occasional Zoom meeting, and it would be something which had a completely different, more perfunctory note to it, because we didn't know how long we would be in a Zoom world. And thanks to the pandemic, it has taught us how much we can get beyond ourselves. There is a lot to be said for face-to-face meeting. I teach a lot of classes virtually, and I am a certified e-speaker. But I know that when I'm in a classroom and I'm in a physical space with my students, there are many things that are added in terms of the nuances of the conversation that go missing when we are in a virtual world. So there is a lot to be said for the power of personal connection, and there is a lot to be said for face-to-face meeting. But when you are in a virtual world, what do you do? There are several things you can do. Being authentic, remember, I talked about authenticity, being yourself. In a virtual world, being yourself becomes more important than ever. Leverage social media, of course, reach beyond yourself and your limitations, but how are you leveraging social media? Put your best self, put your own creativity, put your own stamp, put your own branding to every bit of social media that you create. And that branding will be your best thing for people to remember you. Exchange contact with authenticity and not so much agenda, and do not be transactional in your connection with people. Ask people for permission to establish social media contact. I see a lot of people um, sending friend requests and connection requests to people that they barely knew or have only not even met. And I'm astounded by some of these, reaches for connections, because you definitely need to have some context before you meet a person. You definitely need to have some kind of a relationship. In a virtual world, you're not just listening, you're also reading. You're reading posts at times, you're reading things that are important to a person. And if a person does not feel that you have given them your attention, they will not feel that they have that authentic relationship with you. And value every contact. And I know this is difficult to do, and I know this is um, very um, difficult to remember every contact. As your business, your sphere of influence will increase, it will be more and more difficult to remember contacts. But valuing the connection, valuing every moment that you make the connection, being genuine in that connection. Even if you forget somebody and have met them maybe 3 years ago and they cross your path and they have remembered you more than you remember them, it's okay to explain that I have forgotten, can you please refresh my memory? But value the connection, and don't bluff it over with you know s- something because you do not remember. And when you do this consistently, when you are networking consistently, when you are creating authentic contacts, when you are interacting with people with authenticity, I promise you, you will get referrals. In a business world, that is what we want to work with. We want to work with referrals. We want to gain referrals. Remember, when you get that referral, a referral is an expression of trust. You are the guardian of a little bit of a person's reputation and impact. That is an important expression of trust. And you should treat that referral with care, with grace, with respect, and with dignity. It is very important that you treat the referral with care and respect and dignity. Keep the communication alive, keep the communication ongoing. Let it not be a one and done. If somebody gives you a referral, remember to call them back or email them back or even text them back. Hey, things are going well. I've established contact with the person you have referred me to, and we are meeting on such and such date, or some kind of an update to keep them updated. And always remember to express gratitude. Say thank you. And then, when the time comes, give a referral, because that is the ultimate give back. When somebody has trusted you with their reputation, it is an expression of trust back in kind to give a referral back. And as you do this, you will realize you're doing something very important. You're nurturing every relationship. It is like your own garden, and you have to tend to everything that you plant in your garden. It is farming and cultivation with care and dignity and grace. It is not hunting with a gun where you are targeting people and aiming a firearm at them. It is cultivation and nurturing. And this is what will make you remembered to every connection that you make. This will make networking worthwhile. This will make sense over time. As you expand your sphere, the ability to network with authenticity, the ability to become your brand, the ability to become you will be more important than ever. And I hope you do it well. I hope you do it with authenticity. And I hope you remember to always smile and to always say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our little conversation about networking, and I hope I see you soon. Thank you. Have a blessed day.